If you go to set boundaries in your life and your body feels like it's going to collapse, if you start feeling close or getting intimate with someone and shame comes up, if you feel grief and every time you feel grief, you get flooded, you feel helpless, you just are totally overwhelmed by that grief. If you go to be vulnerable in your relationships or be seen or maybe post something on the internet and your body braces for rejection, if a lot of the times when you go to rest, your body starts feeling anxiety, this video is for you because these are the different coupling dynamics that I am going into. Coupling dynamics are when things are over associated. So when one thing happens, the other thing immediately follows. Not only am I going to be giving you clear examples of how this shows up, but I'm also going to tell you what healing this would look like, as well as a mini practice that you can do if this is something that you're struggling with. And please keep in mind that this is a somatic experiencing or nervous system informed approach, and that is where this is coming from. It is always important to understand why these things became coupled in the first place. While somatic experiencing is not necessarily a content-driven approach, right? It's a very body-based, somatics-based approach. Content is important. The why is important because that shows us where the core wounds are, and that's where I would come in and not only use my somatic experiencing experience, but also soul retrieval, core trauma, inner child work, parts work. And if I were to go through these examples from that perspective, the practices that I would give would be a little bit different because it'd be coming at it from a different angle. All right, so you go to set a boundary, your throat tightens and your knees start getting weak. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go over to the wall. You're going to face the wall and have your feet about 2.5 feet away from the wall. Almost like you're going to do a push-up. So you're going to lean into the wall, have your elbows bent, almost so that your nose is touching the wall. And then you're going to try to find some bit of that anger that flashed through your system and then was immediately suppressed. And you're going to start to push the wall until it's completely pushed away. And then you're going to pause. You're going to track. You're going to look around the room. Find some colors, textures, sounds, name them, say them out loud. Notice how your body feels after doing that one round. Let whatever happens fully move through, and then do that again if it feels like there's more that needs to happen there. Maybe you learned that anger was going to be met with punishment. Maybe you had really angry people around you and you subconsciously decided that you were not going to ever be like those people, and so you suppressed your anger. It may not have been safe for you to express anger, and so that collapse was the best thing for your body to do, and so it's showing us a sequence. Once you do 1, 2, maybe 3 rounds of the wall press, you're going to find that boundary that you were trying to set originally and say it in 5 words or less. How you know that you've healed this or that you are actively in that process of paving those new pathways, right? You've been doing a lot of reps on anger or a need to set a boundary equals collapse. So now we're doing reps on moving that survival energy, allowing your body to know that it's safe to actually come out of that collapse because it's a more activated state. Let yourself feel anger as life force energy. This is life force energy. This is not danger. You maybe let yourself say that out loud a few times. Okay, so how do you know you're making progress with this? So let's say you've been doing several rounds of this. You've been working this out of your system. You've been getting to the core of it. And this moment happens where you need to set a boundary. And maybe you feel that little flash of anger. You let it come through. You maybe feel a little tightness in your jaw, maybe a little warmth. You take a breath. And in 5 words or a single sentence, you just state the boundary really clearly and kindly. And you're not shaking, right? That's how you know that you're making progress and that you're healing this. And I also just want to be clear that if you're moving through something and your body is shaking, that's discharging. That means you're still heading in the right direction. It doesn't mean that you're not healing. It means that this is what your body needs to go through in order to do this without shaking. It is safe to assert yourself. Okay, number 2, rest equals threat or stillness triggers alarm. So you go to lay down and then your heart starts racing. Your mind starts going. I'm not doing enough. I should be doing something right now. Maybe something happened to you. Maybe it happened many times while you were sleeping or around the time that sleep would happen. Right? There's many different reasons why these things could get coupled in together. So here's your little practice. You're going to sit up, not laying down. If you have a weighted blanket, you can place the weighted blanket on your lap. And if you don't, then you're going to take your palms and press them down into the tops of your thighs. This is your grounding anchor. And every 30 seconds or so, you're going to move from this feeling of just the weight of your body on the sofa or in the chair to orienting to the room. What can you see? What can you hear? What can you touch, smell, taste? And for this, I like the phrase, I am learning that it's safe to rest in sips. How do you know that you're healing this coupling dynamic? You can rest without your heart rate spiking for longer and longer increments and periods of time. Example number 3, closeness paired with shame. Meaning that every warm moment might trigger the need to run, to hide, to feel like you don't deserve this. Maybe it even brings up disgust, self-hatred, terror or fear of being abandoned, which comes from the shame or the fear of not being good enough. Maybe being close with people meant doing things that you didn't want to do. Whatever the reason, here's the practice. You're going to find one memory where you had that feeling of warmth. If you can't find that memory with another person, find it with an animal or nature. A memory or moment where you felt warmth and closeness and like it felt okay and safe. If you can't find a memory where it feels totally safe and totally warm, then find something that feels safer and warmer. You're going to bring that memory up and get to the edge of it. If it's overwhelming for you to take all of that in, just get to the edge of it. Place your hand on your heart and just take a few breaths into that warm, connective memory. Come out, orient to your environment. Maybe you feel the chair or you feel the ground that you're on. You come back to the edge of that. You're going to pendulate, right? You're going to move back and forth between that warm memory and this present moment. And the phrase I like for this one is, it's okay for me to enjoy this one breath. Before I go into the last examples, I want to say, like, we're doing reps, guys. Think about how many times, if we use that last example of intimacy and shame, think about how many reps your system has had paving that pathway. So we have to do reps on the opposite experience where we're following what's happening and we're allowing it to discharge, or we're bringing in the opposite experience and we're resourcing ourselves so that it allows for a movement between and for something to shift, release, discharge, integrate. Reps, baby, reps. All right, so number 4, when visibility or your joy or being seen for who you are brings up a fear of being judged, a threat, your body braces for rejection. Maybe you've had experiences where you were really excited about something and then somebody else just kind of shit on it or didn't get excited with you and you felt deflated afterwards. Maybe taking up space meant getting attacked or bullied. Whatever the reason, here's the practice. And for this one, I'm going to give 2. So you're thinking about sharing something with someone. Maybe it's something you're really excited about. Maybe it's something vulnerable and you feel your body brace. You're going to bring up and imagine a shield 360 degrees around your body, or a wall of tigers all facing out. Notice how it feels to be inside of the shield. If it's a shield, what's the color, the texture, how high does it go, how far into the ground does it go? And you're going to stay connected to your breath, and you're going to pendulate between what it feels like to be protected by this and slowly lowering it down. So if there is some type of relief that you feel in being sort of hidden by this shield or protected by these animals, then you're going to pendulate or move between that feeling of being somewhat relieved. Where can you feel the relief in your body when you're being hidden, when you're cloaked? Maybe it's an invisibility cloak around you. And then you slowly, slowly reveal just a little bit at a time. Can you hang with that little bit of uncomfortableness and then come back to the relief until it's less and less and less and less and you've landed the plane? The other example is, let's say it's something that you're excited about. You're going to celebrate with yourself for 1 minute. You're going to get excited. You're going to let yourself feel that feeling just for you. Notice how that feels in your body. Then you're going to pick one safe person to share that exciting news with. Maybe you even let them know ahead of time. I am working on allowing myself to feel safe and being seen and feeling joy, and I'm trying to celebrate myself. Will you celebrate this with me? You need to have repeating experiences that heal or give you the opposite experience of what created this to begin with. Track the difference. What was it like when you were just celebrating with yourself? What was it like when you shared with the safe person? Beep, boop, bop, bop, bop. Okay, let's go to the final one, where grief and being flooded with helplessness are overcoupled. So something triggers your grief, or it just wells up in your body, and then you are flooded with different images, memories, maybe even scent. Okay, remember this. When we're flooded, we need containers. I've talked about this in other videos where I literally, if people are being flooded with memories, I will have them place those things into a basket or into some kind of a safe where we can funnel all of the things that are being flooded to and then take them out one at a time, even though I know it can't always be as surgically precise as that, but there are many ways to work with containers, both physically, psychologically, through imagination, energetically, emotionally. But in this instance, the container. So a container is also like an anchor. So what you're going to find, you're going to feel your feet on the floor. You're going to find an anchor point. If you're inside, I like to imagine that I'm bringing the dirt floor all the way up to my feet. What is the temperature of the dirt? Is it warm? Is it cool? So a container can look like this. It can look like being wrapped, or we want to have an anchor point. So we want to have something to grab onto. We want to try to touch the waves without losing the shore, without being completely consumed by the wave. And I know that that is challenging. Go for 30 seconds. Go for a minute, however long you can, where you're just seeing if you can back off of it enough to feel the ground rooted, to grab onto this anchor point and allow the wave to move through without losing touch with the shore. Just wanting that first layer, and then we want to try to let that wave go all the way to the shore before we go back out and track another layer of that grief. Do not expect yourself to do this perfectly. How you know that you are healing this is that you can touch the grief, like I said, without losing the shore. And I didn't say this on the one before this with joy or visibility and then the risk that comes with that. What would healing look like in that situation? It might look like you being able to have your shoulders dropped, name a win to someone, something you're excited about while staying connected to your breath. It might look like being able to share a video, being able to have a hard conversation and stay in your body and stay present. And you know what? It might also look like being able to access joy consistently, right? Because if joy is automatically linked to threat, then that is sad, because we need to have joy. And we need intimacy, and we need rest, and we need the capacity to feel when things happen, and we need boundaries, right? We need all of these things, which is why these practices are so important, because when our boundaries get shut down because we don't have access to anger because something else happens, when our expression gets shut down because we're fearing judgment, when our grief isn't able to process because our system's getting truly flooded, when we're not able to rest, our life is just harder. So this is hopefully gonna be helpful, guys. Sorry, I just feel a little bit nuts because I recorded like 15 or 20 minutes of this and then I accidentally somehow deleted the video. But I can't give up. I cannot. No, sir, just because I deleted that video, this information still has to come out, baby. So I hope you're well. I hope this lands with you. Please let me know in the comments below. Anything and everything. Peace and blessings.